Hello, beloveds, and happy Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. I wanted to take a moment to tune in and turn on with you and share a little bit of insight and inspiration. What's going on in this energy of December? Why we're feeling so much different now than we were feeling just a few weeks ago, even as little as a few days ago. December's energy is altogether different. Hello, beloveds. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm always so grateful to share, serve, and shine. And so here we go. So December's energy is definitely letting us know that it is different than November. It is different than anything. And what's happening out in the skies right now is what's called the Grand X. And right in the middle of this X is the Earth. And so many of us are feeling this energy of shifts, of changes, of our inner evolution. And this inner evolution is more than just about what we do with our money. I mean, it's so big. This is a huge shift. And what we're seeing now more than ever is this is really what we are moving into, the age of Aquarius. Yes, when we're focusing more on our inner experience than this outer experience. And many of us are seeing this in so many dramatic ways because we are being, I don't want to say forced, but being put in situations where we really have to look at ourselves and we have to be willing to speak our truth. But again, more of us are being quiet. Why are we being quiet? We're speaking our truths truly to ourselves for the first time. And so this Grand X is reminding us who we are, who we be out in the world, and who we are out in these streets. Are we representing what is within us, or who are we pretending to be somebody that we're not? And so this last month is really just pushing us to just flush all of our stuff out, just flush it out, because it is time for us truly to release, to relax, and to reset. Because guess what? None of us know what is going to happen. And the more that we focus on trying to get things back to the way they were, the more it's like we're pushing upstream. Things are not meant to go back. Things are meant to evolve. Nature is constantly teaching us this. And so we are now learning to adapt in ways that we hadn't. But guess what? This is what our ancestors did have to learn. Our ancestors learned very early on adaptation. We're fascinated by villages and people who still live very primitively, because we imagine we can't do it. We imagine if we see people on a farm in a clay hut, or doing something with no technology, we imagine, oh my God, their lives must be so, like, oh my God, they're so poor. But in truth, they're rich. They're rich in culture. They're rich in their heritage. They're rich in their wisdom and knowledge that they learned from, not from technology and from books, but from nature, from our divine teacher, from the stars. So they are still practicing and learning the ancient ways. And just recently, how I know that this is true, and how we forget that these are what stories are about, the hero's journey. And so recently, my husband and I started watching some old kids classics, and one of our favorites, both of us realized, was the Neverending Story. Do you guys remember the Neverending Story? Let me see some hearts if you remember the Neverending Story. And I was a librarian, so I used to show this actually to my students. And it's about this little boy who, if you haven't seen it, it's about this little boy who opens this book, and then he becomes a part of the story. And the young man in the story, Atreyu, is this young, fierce warrior, right? And he was afraid of nothing, kind of like the Fool tarot card, right? And so he was just going to go out there. He had his tools, but in the movie, he couldn't take any of his magical things. And so he took his horse, I think, and he took a few other things. Oh, he had a medallion. And so there's this point in the movie where he has to cross this desert, and it's these two huge statues on the side, and the whole point of getting through this desert and crossing through these statues was that he had to believe in himself, and nobody was able to make it. All these, knights and, decorated guys who thought that they were so brave and courageous, they thought that they could get through by what they had done, by what they had, accomplished, by what they had. They thought, oh, I can walk through these things. It's okay. My ego is big enough. I'm grand enough. I can cross through. And all you saw on the side were just all these bodies of ones who didn't make it through because they thought it was about their outside accolades. And this little boy, it was like these four piercing eyes were looking down at him, and he was crossing. And at first he was confident, and then he started to disbelieve in himself. And then there was this little old man who was like a troll, and he was like hoping for me. He's like, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to have faith. You've got to have faith. And so slowly he starts to look at everybody that has died around him, and he's moving forward and forward, and the eyes are getting bigger and bigger. And he takes a risk and runs ahead and skips and jumps. And the whole point of this is it took his belief in himself. Even though he got scared, he still went forward. He didn't give up. He had to really believe in himself to get past it, right? And so this is the story, right? This is the story that many of us go through. We're doing something and we look at the sides and see what everybody else is doing, and that takes us off course. And then we think that there's something that's outside of us, some big, bigger spirit that's keeping us away from our good. And the truth is, it's us. And so, we have to remember that it is often us that is resistant to ourself. It is us that does not believe in ourself. It is us who looks at others to recognize who we are. And we have to remember this about our health, about our well-being, about how and what we do with our work, the words we use, how we treat ourselves. And I'm going to tell you, this was not the story that I've always had. I definitely did not come from this place, but over the years, I've learned that the most important thing I have to do for myself is to believe in myself. Nobody else can do that for me. And for a very long time, I did not believe in myself. I ignored myself. I dismissed myself even. And I dismissed other people because I was so dismissive of myself. And so we have to start looking at ourselves. We cannot dismiss ourselves and then expect others to love us. We can't dismiss ourselves and expect our dreams to come true. We can't dismiss ourselves and wonder why the universe isn't helping us. The universe is helping us. The thing is, if we're focused on what everybody else is doing, if we're thinking that there's something, up there that is keeping us from our good, the most important thing is to look within. And so we have to speak up to ourselves. We have to sometimes speak the truth to ourselves and get our old self out of the way. And that is what this December energy and this, grand X in the sky is all about. It's reminding us that we are our own teachers. The thing is, sometimes we need a coach, we need a mentor, we need a class, we need a retreat, we need something to remind us of this, because we can't do it by ourselves, because if we could, we wouldn't be here. And so I know, even for myself, this morning I was in my Course in Miracles group. This afternoon I have my IFA philosophy. After that I have my year in energy healing class. And so I have to remember constantly to be a student before I can be a teacher. And so that is today's insight and inspiration. And so just remember, we are always, always, always students of learning something new, and not just about wisdom, but we are always students of forgiveness. We are always students of ourselves. We are always students of the world. And so I invite you to take that in. I am unique, I am special, I am enough, and I am a student of the world. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me, beloveds, today. I can't wait to share some more insight and inspiration with you. And please make sure you join our Tarot and Moon webinar this weekend. I'll be sharing some insights, a little bit of altar alchemy. You're welcome, beloved. A little bit of ritual magic and so much more. How you can connect the tarot and the moon for yourself. And so don't forget, it's free. You can join that link in bio, and you get a 20+ page gift, that the moon guide, so you can start to create your personal relationship with the moon. And I hope you'll join me on Saturday, special 12/12 energy. On the 12th, like the hangman number 12, we're about to shift our perspective and get ready for the upcoming new moon solar eclipse, as well as the winter solstice. So lots to go on. We've got a special announcement as well. So make sure you join that webinar so you can hear about our special announcement and our very special year-in goodie basket of goodness for you. We've got a very special virtual retreat, and I can't wait to share more with you. And so until next time, beloveds, stay in peace, be the peace, and just continue to recognize the truth of who you are. Until next time, peace and blessings. Thank you so much for joining.